Hey everybody, it's time for another Sunroom session. It is Saturday, May 9th. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Not a very happy camper right now because last night the frost rolled in and it killed some of my vegetables. Even though I had them covered, they still were susceptible to the frost, and so I guess back to the drawing board. Um, the lesson that's set up for this week, I'm also using it as an external tool the way I have been. I think one or two people have had problems with that. I don't understand why. The majority of you guys had no problem. You click on it, it opened up, the document was there, you filled out the answers, and then you submitted it. A few of you emailed me, you said the answers disappeared, or wouldn't open up, or wouldn't submit, but you guys just end up emailing me the actual Google Doc, making a copy. Again, maybe you need to make sure you are allowing or authorizing your Google and Canvas to talk to each other, because the majority of you don't seem to have any problems, so it doesn't make any sense why one or two people would have problems. I'm going to email the tech support at school and see what the deal is with that. But anyway, this lesson for this week, I think it is the best one I've put together so far. I'm really happy with it. When you first look at it, you might feel overwhelmed. It is very long, but it's long because the font is large, there are pictures, I put in buffer space so when you're answering questions that it stays somewhat organized. So when you open it, basically you'll see it's in Canvas, and then when you click on it, it's an external tool, a Google Doc, and you'll see the first thing here in red. It's a suggestion, and my suggestion basically says scroll through everything. Please scroll through the entire assignment before you actually get started, just so you see what is there, what's going on day to day. You see the pictures, you see how it's organized. Because once you start typing, what will probably happen is some of those pictures might bump down, and half of it will be on one page and half on another. So I'm going to suggest you hit return a few times so you can just kind of bump it down, so when it's all done, it looks really good when you submit it. So there's not stuff that's truncated, it's half on one page and half of something on another page. So please scroll down. And just keep in mind that everything's going to be moving as you answer questions. I think for sure that as I set this up, and I'll show you here, for instance, you can kind of see that I just put tiny little yellow boxes. So anywhere you need to put an answer, if you just click the cursor in the center of that yellow box, and when you start typing, it should actually continue just to highlight your answer. So then as I'm looking through everything, I should actually see every one of your answers highlighted. Okay? And you can see if you're putting a long word in, it's going to bump down and bump everything down on further down on the page. But it should be straightforward. It's based off one video that's about 8 minutes long. It's a amoeba sister video on protists and fungi. But I actually broke up the 8-minute video into 3 separate days because there's quite a bit of questions. And then the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, there's another video, and there are also some other websites and some external searching for answers you need to do, Googling things. This might be the most challenging one you had, but after all, you're in 9th grade. I don't think it's that challenging. Don't lose your cool. Again, if you feel frustrated, just set it down, go away from it. Come back to it later, come back to it the next day. All right, should not be that much of a problem. Again, I'm really trying the next 3 weeks here to focus on what I think you might need when you get into biology next year, what at least hopefully you'll see some of the same concepts, or at least building a little quick foundation before you roll into 10th grade next year. So please keep doing what you're doing. It's going to help you in the long run. Again, it's not, if you read the message I sent last week, it's not about earning the grade. It's about learning to learn, learning how to use Canvas, learning how to use your Google Doc and your iPad, and all the capabilities that these devices have. So take advantage of this opportunity. Okay, and I think you'll learn a lot. I'm trying to make these things interesting. I'm trying to tie it to real world situations, talking about food, talking about different mushrooms that are edible and things like that. So again, you'll see these stop signs as you hit the end of each lesson, and it basically just says you could stop there, or if you want to, keep on working on to the next day. Again, I'm really happy with the way it came out. I put a lot of time into putting this together for you guys, because that's my job after all. I want you guys to like science, like school, and I want you to learn something. And I think that's about it. Oh, on the campsite video, I mentioned a final exam. So again, before all this happened, I was putting together multiple choice final exam. It was going to be comprehensive. It was going to be a little bit of everything from the entire year. I really think what I'll do is the very last week of school, whatever that is, the 22nd through the 29th, whatever that week is, I'll give you that entire week to work on that final exam. I just want to know or just see how you guys do. And I'm going to put faith in you that you won't look up the answers or Google the answers. It'll be multiple choice. Obviously, you would have been studying for it ahead of time if you were actually in school. So, I mean, if you have your notebook, look over your notebook, that kind of thing. But just take it cold. It doesn't count for anything, but I'm just curious to see how much you remember from the beginning of the year. I mean, it'll be questions about some of the prefixes and suffixes, the Latin words, things about some of the chemistry, the atoms. I mean, everything we've pretty much talked about, the DNA. There'll be a few questions. I believe I have it set up to be totally multiple choice. I didn't finish it yet. It's probably up to almost 50 questions. I don't want to make it too big, but I'll get that rounded up, and that'll be the very last week. So I guess we have this week, and then we have one more next week, which I want to get into the plant and animal kingdom. So timing-wise, that's going to be perfect. It'll be all six kingdoms covered, and then that last week we can, I guess, do the final exam. You can see Zoe is with me. Zoe, we're babysitting Zoe. She's not my actual dog. My other dog is Jackson, who's in the house. Zoe's very intimidating looking just because of the way she looks. She scares people, but she is the sweetest and most kind of fraidy cat, actually. She's very skittish. She's actually napping. So she's some sort of a shepherd mix. She's a rescue from down south. A friend of mine got her when she was just a little baby. And she gets along amazingly with my black lab. She looks a lot like the dog I had that we had to put down last year that was also a rescue. So I kind of get sad every time I see her. She's just an amazing, at least my dog was amazing. Zoe's a sweetheart. So she just decided to come out here and sit here with me. So good luck. Keep up what you're doing. And you have the whole week to work on it. I have it set up for the, what's the last day? What's Friday here? The 15th. It runs to the 15th of May. But as I've been doing, you still have days afterward. I think it's set up to run to the 22nd of May. So please do this one especially because, again, I think this is pretty relevant to some bio prep, some keywords, some concepts for next year. And it just, I think it's some cool information. Of course, I like science, so it'd be cool information. But good luck, stay safe. I miss you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in August back in school. Take care.